disability resources and things like that.
Okay, great. All right, Erica, Dara, this question is for the two of you. You can answer it in whichever order you wish, but can you tell us a little bit about how you feel about openly discussing your disability? Do you prefer people to know, or do you prefer not to discuss it?
Well, I know for me, I don't mind discussing any part of it. I'm ADD, ADHD, slightly OCD, and I'm really an open book just because, people can see things that I do, like in class, I'll over ask questions, or when a professor tells us something, I like to clarify and say, so you mean this? I like to restate it back just to make sure that I'm understanding. And a lot of people can really, I guess, misconstrue what I'm doing, like, gosh, this girl just needs to stop talking. Mm-hmm. But I don't mind talking about it because it helps them understand why I do certain things like that. It's not that I'm trying to take over the class or take up anyone's time. It's just that I want to make sure that I understand because I have the right to an education as much as the person sitting next to me. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with Erica. I'm starting to become, I'm so sorry. I'm starting to become a bit more open about it, just so people understand like what's going through my mind when I'm doing the things I do. So yeah.
Okay, great. Dr. I, this next question is for you. What are some of the biggest challenges that our students face in terms of living with an invisible disability?
That's a good question. I think one is dealing with the debilitating effects of having an invisible disability. Dealing with the struggle of waking up with pain, or whether it be with anxiety or some mental health related issue. And then also not having access to accommodations, that's very challenging. And then dealing with the stigma associated with having a disability, the negative attitudes, the negative reactions that they may anticipate from people, the lack of understanding. All of that can be very challenging. And then depending on where they live too in various communities, like in rural areas, there's a lack of access to resources and services. So all that is taken into account. But I do think, the lack of accommodations is a big one, and then the debilitating effects that they just have as an everyday struggle to cope.
Okay. That's very helpful. Joe, what are some of the biggest challenges in accommodating students with invisible disabilities?
That's a great question, and I think, like Dr. I had mentioned as well, the number one challenge that I see with students is the stigma, and that happens first before we're even able to offer accommodations. And I hear it all the time, and we do our best to engage in as many outreach events as we can to make ourselves available. Personally, since I've been here already, I've had numerous students tell me, I'm a senior this year. I never sought out your services. Actually, yesterday I met with a student. We had the conversation, and I apologized to her for that not on behalf of myself, but just for that circumstance, that scenario that we didn't connect in the first several years of her education here. And we specifically talked about the stigma. She said, I have anxiety, I have PTSD, different things going on. I didn't want the stigma of saying that I have a disability. And I reassured her through our process, and I said, I hope that you can see our process is pretty simple, right? I mean, I hope you're comfortable. And she said, yeah, I should have come here a long time ago. It's really easy. It's really easy to work with you all. And that's the message that I want to send to students. Come chat with us. We don't have to put anything in place. We just want to talk first and find out what we can help with and what's going on. Once the accommodations are in place, one of the challenges students have with invisible disability sometimes is communicating with their faculty member to talk about their accommodation, to have that dialogue and that conversation about what their needs look like in the classroom. And so for that reason, I'm also available to help facilitate that conversation. So I tell students as well, if you'd like me to join you in that conversation or initiate that conversation, I'm happy to do that as well. So,
That's good.
but once